Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to see that a digital company in today's digital era is still releasing books which are made of paper, smell good, touch and feel good. And that's the whole game of omni-channel. On the one hand, there is a revolution taking place in the digital world. And on the other, there are enough retailers in the world who are doing well in their traditional formats. And while the retailers in their traditional formats, retailers in the online space are doing what they are doing, the rest of the world is still trying to find the definition of omni-channel. And it is not only here, but in most parts of the world, people are still grappling with what is this omni-channel. So now we are not going to be spending too much time defining omni-channel. Each one of you can have a view on what it is. But I think we've got a very, very loaded panel out here with a diverse experience set and from a diverse set of industries and a diverse set of backgrounds. And I think it'll be great if we could use this 1 hour to really get viewpoints from these expert gentlemen on what they feel the way this whole concept of multi-channel or omni-channel is moving in the world. What does the future look like? What are the concerns? What are the opportunities? And the way we'll do it is I'll request each panel member to share their thoughts and insights, perhaps give a bit of background of their business, and then we'll pick up a few themes for discussion. What I would also like is that somewhere midway through, if any one of you wants to desperately ask a question, feel free to do so. So we won't leave all the questions towards the end, but maybe midway through, if anyone feels the need to ask a question, a clarification, give a point of view, more than happy to encourage that. Okay? So let's go. Let me, without...
Hello. Very good afternoon. My name is Shin. I'm in charge of the Star CJ. Star CJ is the company between, 50-50 joint venture between previously Star TV, India. Right now, we have a new quasi strategic partner, which is Providence Equity. So I'm happy about it. And the rest, 50% goes to the CJO Shopping. CJO Shopping is the world's second biggest home shopping company, TV home shopping company. So obviously the number one TV home shopping company is a QVC in the United States. And we are number 2 worldwide. Last year, for your review, actually, CJO Shopping had about $5 billion domestic and outside, domestic and overseas the revenue altogether. And briefly talk about today's the theme. The subject is omni-channel, multi-channel. So basically, I came here in back in February year 2012. I've been here about 3 years exactly. In my experience, CJO Shopping has basically 4 different kind of channels. One, the TV home shopping, which is our bread and butter. And the secondly, we have internet. And the third, catalog business. And lastly, we had we have mobile commerce business. So, for example, last year, mobile commerce, the revenue was around say 4,000 crore, the revenue out of the mobile commerce business. So we had those kind of a multi-channel and omni-channel experience. So we are trying to, Star CJ in India is trying to get the channel synergy between the TV home shopping and the internet, and we also have m-commerce. So that's what we are trying. Thank you so much. Yeah, great.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon. My name is Verschueren. I'm the Director General of EuroCommerce, and EuroCommerce is the European Trade Association for retail and wholesale operating out of Brussels. So I think what we're trying to do is, we're basically the equivalent of the Retail Association of India for Europe. And so when you ask really the sort of omni-channel and how is omni-channel in Europe, I often use the statistics. I don't know if it's still valid today, but certainly it was a few years ago. And you look at the top 3 e-commerce companies in terms of sales and successes. I mean, number 1 is Amazon, number 2 is the Otto Group out of Germany, and number 3 was Tesco. And it was interesting because out of the 3 companies, the number 1 is typically a pure player. The number 2 was traditionally a mail order catalog out of Germany, very successful, that converted into internet. And third is Tesco, whom we know very well, was a leading retailer, bricks and mortar retailer in the UK. So you see that actually omnichannel is very much a convergence of very different kinds of retailers, all providing the necessary customer experience. So I think that is a first interesting. The second is that in Europe what we see retailers are doing a lot of experimentation in terms of how they use how the internet can serve their customer in terms of product offering, advertising, or also delivering. I mean, in the UK, for example, a lot of the companies, the bricks and mortars, have used a lot of home delivery, whilst in France, there's been really a mushrooming of what they call drive, which was sort of click and collect points, first of all at stores, and second, basically purely independent, where people were ordering their groceries and picking it up as they went, they went home. So, and then you see also some of the changes. In fact, you see a bit of a flip over. I mean, the UK sees some of the click and collect mechanism, in France experience now also more with home delivering and much lower growth in terms of the so-called pickup points. So that's so those are, you see a lot of trial and error, in fact. Also because a lot of people are experiencing the profitability and the business model. I mean, I was fascinating to hear the panel this morning where a lot of skepticism and also I think in Europe we see in terms of which model is really going to be making money, longer term in that regard. So the other, maybe third point I wanted to mention is in the space where I work, which is really policy, where, as you may know, we have a new European Parliament, a new Commission in function since a few months, headed by Jean-Claude Juncker, and he has made the digital single market as one of his top priorities. So, as you know, the economic conditions are not too rosy in Europe for the time being, with very high level of unemployment, very flat growth, even deflation, and they are seeing that, of course, the digital economy, in a broader sense, is something that could bringing a number of jobs, could add up to 3% of growth in the GDP, could also significantly, I mean, the numbers have been used, reducing the public administration costs by up to 20%, and so they are therefore actually really making a very fundamental policy proposal that, first of all, creates a single market, because although we talk about European Union, we're still dealing with 28 countries, 23 languages, different taxation regimes. I know this is something that's very prevalent in this country as well, but this is also some of the things that is a barrier for people to really leverage and exploit all the opportunities in the EU single market. So. I'll probably stop here, just with a few couple of thoughts.
Thanks. Greg, while you're speaking to the audience, if you can share some of the Walmart perspective. You worked with Walmart for many years, and the audience would love to hear some perspective from that point of view.
Okay, thank you, Jamshed. So, I'm CEO of Bharti Retail, which operates Easyday supermarkets and Easyday hypermarkets. So we have two formats, brick and mortar formats. And as Jamshed had mentioned, then I had spent nearly 25 years with Walmart and was here in India before with the Bharti Walmart launch of the cash and carry in the retail business. So I had the opportunity to spend about 15 years in international and work out of the home office and work abroad with my erstwhile company. And there was a lot of discussion even the last couple of years as what is omni-channel and how should we play an omni-channel? And really I would say from other retailers' perspectives in the US and big global players, there was really a desire to understand what omni-channel is and how should we play. And if you are a large retailer that has a large distribution network, your supply chain, your logistics, everything is in place, you've got your stores, how do you start to play in other channels? And really e-commerce. What I learned along the way is nobody really had a great answer, and there's a multitude of options. So multi-channel has been around a long time. If you look at Sears, they started out as a catalog company over 130 years ago, and they didn't have their first store for probably 30, 40 years in. So they were first a catalog company. Direct mail came about, and you had different types of ways to really engage with your customer over the decades, and if you look over the last century. So multi-channel is not a new phenomenon. We've turned it into the omni-channel discussion, which denotes e-commerce. But omni-channel really is always to serve, and I don't know that anybody can really serve always. So it is a multi-channel discussion. So if you look at the excitement that we have around the world today, but also here in India, omni-channel, e-commerce, it's like a big deal. Everybody wants to get into it and understand it. There's various ways to do it, and there's various ways to play. That's why it's multi-channel. I'm of the belief that you have to first know who your customer is and be very customer-centric. Not all consumers are the same. They're not. There's the pyramid that we talk about in India. People consume in different ways. They purchase differently. Now, as retailers or people that sell, we buy and sell merchandise, we have to understand which customer we're approaching, which customer is our target customer, and build a strategy around that. As you build that strategy, it might be brick and mortar, or it might be e-com, or it could be catalog, or it could be a lot of other things. But I believe that thinking that because you're a retailer, you have to serve in all ways, will probably make you not good at very many things and just dilute your strategy and your proposition. So I would say for us in Easyday, first and foremost, we need to be a good retailer in hypermarkets and supermarkets and brick and mortar. We build the business that way so that we can make sure that we take cost out of the business, pass on savings to our customers. We have a financial